open cases, which is fucking bullshit when it's been like 40 years going on. But my thought is that a lot of those old boys, they're gone. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Those old boys who were on the squad back in the day when this was happening, I think they're out the picture now.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I think you've got some new hotshots who want to get that fucking case closed. The whole thing about this is that I think this is a story that needed to needs to be talked about more, because these victims so far, this happened in 1974 and 75. This is 2018. They've not yet had any sort of justice. Their families haven't had any sort of comfort, I guess, to know that the killer's not there. And
it's such a shame for, like, say the German guy.
Yeah,
his wife has grown old. His children have grown up, not knowing what happened to the dad.
Yeah. Exactly, not knowing, not having the justice served that was deserved for their father's death. And all these people, fuck. I guess that sort of leads us on to the three things we do. So obviously, condolences to the victims and their families. Where my hope would, not that we have a huge listener base, but my hope in discussing this, and I know this is the vibe that a lot of people who are talking about this story online are coming from. They're saying we need to talk more about this so that more is done about it. Hoping that the discovery of the DNA and the thing moving forward with the police department this year is going to bring it more to fruition, bring it more into the public eye. The reason why I was describing the people in such detail, it's one, because most people who I saw were doing that when they were talking about the case, and the reason for it is that if anyone, probably not going to remember at this point in time, but if anyone remembers anything, essentially, that is what people who are telling this story are trying to do. It's like, anyone who remembers literally anything about this, please come forward. If you remember anyone who may have looked like this at a point in time, if you spoke to someone who was dressed like this or anything, just come forwards with the information. But yeah, that's the whole point, is to get the story spoke about more people can come forward with hopefully more information, more evidence that can probably help close the case. And I hope that hopefully by the end of this year we might be able to do a follow-up episode where we can talk about catching the fucking bastard. Although there is speculation that the guy, two things. The guy either didn't stop killing and went on to potentially become one of another serial killer. The description of him, let me just check. There is a composite sketch. The composite sketch you could also interpret. If you've seen the composite sketch of Richard Ramirez, they're very similar composite sketches, right? So he was the original Night Stalker. There's a few other killers that people have said, there's some similarities towards the Doodler and this other person.
It's the gaunt look, to be fair.
Yeah. And so people are thinking, a killer, and people will say, psychiatrists and everyone will tell you this 100%, that if someone is that much of a brutal killer, they're not just going to randomly stop unless either they're caught or they die. So that's the other theory, that he died. The other theory is that when the sort of AIDS crisis came about, that maybe he got caught up in that and was a victim of that.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. We just don't know.
Well, hopefully we will know at some
Hopefully we will know, but at the moment we just don't fucking know. Yeah. And that's what's so interesting about this story to me. Heroes, do you think? It's becoming increasingly hard to think of the heroes.
It really is.
I guess the heroes for this particular story are the few people who did come forward. Yeah. And provide the evidence that was needed, the composite sketch, the people who even went there anonymously and sort of give their little tidbits of information. Those are the heroes, I think, of this story, right? Because even though the police department didn't really do much with that information at the time, I guess if investigators are looking at that now in 2018, they've still got that information, I would assume. They've still got the composite sketch and everything.
They'd have to.
They've still got all those
If
details.
the case is still there, well, even when cases are closed, they still keep all the documentation for that case.
Yeah, I would assume they definitely would. Lastly, the thing we like to do, but I suppose it's a bit difficult with this one. Well, no, we can still fucking do it. Usually, it feels more satisfying when we've got the real name, but we can still do it. I'm gonna put
the real name in a big car.
Yeah, I want to put it out into the ether anyway. Put it out there. So, everyone, feel free to join us at home in this section. I know you will enjoy it. If you're in the grocery store, if you're pushing your child on a swing. Why are you listening to a podcast pushing child on a swing? But even if you are, join in with us right now, because we want to say a big and fabulous fuck you to the Doodler, the worst of all Batman's villains. Everyone, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you haven't already, once more, again, you can find us on our social medias, Twitter at MurdlandPod, and also our Facebook page, Adventures in Murdland. Our personal social medias will also be in the show notes down below, as well as my YouTube channel, youtube.com/It's Mike James. I have some interesting videos on there, and you can see our faces if you really want to. You probably
I'm hardly in it.
You probably shouldn't. No, it's more of a me thing, right?
Yeah,
everything's more of a me thing.
Like an amazing cameo.
Everything's more of a me thing. So yeah, that's everything. That's podcast. Podcast over. Enjoyable podcast, fun podcast, sexual podcast.
Sexual.
That's everything. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Thank you very much indeed once again for listening. I have been Mike James.
And I've been Alan.
And make sure to tune in next week for even more adventures in Murderland. I tried not to do the stupid voice again. Goodbye.
Bye.
Keep trying to not do the same.